Today we will discuss threats to biodiversity, and in these threats, at number 1, we are going to discuss human population growth. Human population growth is seriously and severely affecting biodiversity. First of all, we look at the table of how human population have increased as compared to past. In the last 300 years, human population has increased a little, while the last 150 years were very fruitful for the growth of human population because of the scientific advancements going on there in the world, because of better food, better health, and better sanitation. Now, if we look at statistics, in 1850, human population was 1 billion. In 2000, it grew to 6 billion. It means during the span of 150 years, human population increased from 1 billion to 6 billion, almost 5 billion. Increase in human population have been seen in these years. In November 2022, human population have jumped to 8 billion. Largest country by population in the world was first China, now India have become the first number 1 country in terms of human population. Pakistan stood at number 5 with 24 million, 240 million population. Pakistan is at number 5th. These were some statistics about human population growth. Now, if we go to the next slide, human population growth, how it is impacting biodiversity. Human population growth, when increases, it results in decrease in biological communities because of the impact that human activities have on the biodiversity. These activities can range from deforestation to construction to agricultural activities. All these activities are resulting in reduction of biodiversity. In 1850, human population was 1 billion, which have increased to 6 billion in 2000, and this increase is now dependent on the resources, is making or more precisely over exploiting the resources of the world. Next, we will discuss causes of increase, why human population have increased, or what is the reason behind this fast growth of human population. Population increases when birth rate is higher than mortality rate. Mortality rate is estimated in 1000 births. How many mortalities are reported? Why this population has increased? There are some factors: better growth, better food, better sanitation, and better health facilities are responsible for this increase in human population. These all advantages are mainly due to scientific advancements, which started to begin from 17th century onward. Next is why resource utilization is increasing. Why people are using more resources. If we talk about industrialized nations, there is unequal distribution of resources. More resources are dedicated for the growth of the industry, and less resources are left for the management and conservation of biodiversity. Instead, biodiversity is destroyed for industrial development and for other developments, other sectors that are linked with the development of industry. This unequal distribution of resources does not only lead to increase of industrialization and decrease in biological communities, It also increases the class difference between people, which results in inequalities among the people, and that eventually lead to unrest in the world. Resource utilization mainly is unequal distribution of resources in industrialized nations, also increasing the class difference, which we have discussed earlier. Now, resource utilization increases when middle class population of a country increases. If middle class population increases, they have some income to buy more things, more cars, more houses, and this increase in demand of resources will result in more utilization of resources, more alteration in original habitat of the world, that will result in decrease in biological communities. Next is, what is ecological footprint? Every action or species which have some impact on surrounding environment, or impact of species on surrounding environment, is called ecological footprint. We can plot a graph between number of people per hectare on y-axis and human development index on x-axis. We can draw a graph, and we can determine the living standard of people. We can draw we can put number human development index or standard of living on here x-axis, and number of people per hectare on y-axis, and that result we get around about here. We get an average line where countries with average number of hectares per people stand. At this section and round about these sections, we will find those countries that are developing countries like Mozambique, Sierra Leone. On average line, we can find countries like India, China, and so on. And as we go on higher value towards the higher values on the graph, somewhere like at this point we can have countries like Saudi Arabia, and then at the top the most developed countries like United States. But this graph is quite limited, because here we have taken only one variable, that is number of people per hectare. It means we are only considering the space that is available for people to live. We are not counting in other factors like education, like health facilities, availability of food. So it is limited in scope, graphs like this, where we are taking into account only one value. Anyways, this was all about threats to biodiversity, and especially we have discussed the impact of human population